Thank you all so much for meeting with me. I wanted to address the projected staffing shortages that we had discussed in our previous meeting. After a great deal of thought and analysis, I believe that there are many options that seem to be good options for decreasing turnover within our units. Many of the options that I would choose are ones that nursing professors Bessie Marquise and Carol Houston consider strengths-based leadership, because they focus on the development or empowerment of workers' strengths as opposed to identifying problems. The first change that I would make would be to perform daily rounds. Daily rounds may help the staff to feel a stronger bond with their manager and a stronger sense of loyalty to the unit as well. A manager that is visible is a more approachable manager as opposed to someone who is simply in an office somewhere. An open door policy may also help to decrease frustration on the floor by allowing an open dialogue. This might help allow nurses to verbalize those frustrations rather than leaving over them. I also feel that travel nurses may help with the lack of staff. I understand this is a short-term solution, but if the nurses on the floor feel as though they have help and are not left struggling, then they may feel more likely to stay. I realize that this will be a large expense, but it will be less costly than training new nurses continually. I am not sure that expanding the job description for the CNAs or LPNs would help, but a similar way to utilize them would be to hire more of the CNAs. If there were more CNAs, then they could handle many of the tasks that do not need an RN in order to be completed. I also believe that a unit-level shared governance model may be helpful in allowing for input from the nurses in the units. Since each floor has different needs, they may feel as though having a voice on their own floor gives them actual influence in what occurs on the floor. The nurses on the floor may have ideas that can only be seen from their perspectives. Another possible way to increase retention is to have a float pool nurse that is available for 2 or 3 units every day. This nurse is to be used for lunch breaks first. Since a lack of breaks seems to be one of the most universal complaints among nurses, this will provide that much needed chance to recharge within the workday. After they have allowed the nurses on the unit to have their lunches, then this nurse could be used by any unit that has a significant need. If there are no significant needs, then they may be used for any task that a registered nurse can perform. As for recruiting new nurses, I believe that our current nursing staff is our best resource. We may be able to gain ideas by asking what led them to their current position. If there are underlying themes, then we can work on expanding or increasing those things. Also, nurses tend to know other nurses, and they can be a great referral source. If they are given a substantial bonus, then they may be more active participant in the recruiting process. I also believe that we should offer small incentives to individuals who come up with recruiting ideas. I believe that innovation should be rewarded, and this would help the morale as well as the recruiting. I would also like to spend some time with managers that have high retention and high recruitment rates within our organization. They may be able to offer some ideas that could be helpful in our current situation, and seeing how they interact with their staff may offer some additional insight. This is not a problem that occurred quickly, but it does need immediate attention in order to prevent it from escalating even further. It will take additional time and resources, but I know that if we all work together, then we can come up with some creative ideas to address this problem. Thank you all for your time and attention.